Thank you for joining me for this video segment. My name is Derek, of course, everybody's favorite prodigal bastard. This is addictMMA, and yes, this video segment is a little bit different. Today, I'm going to tackle a subject that's a little off subject for what I do normally. Normally, what I would do is talk about fights, or my opinion about fights, or who I like as a fighter, or make fun of somebody, whatever. But today, I was sparked with the idea of a conversation through one of my favorite radio personalities of all time, Drew Garabo. He is on 102.5 The Bone. If you live in the greater Tampa Bay area, Manatee County, like I live in, and even a little farther south, you know who I'm talking about. And that radio station is just the best. It's just the best. They've got the best lineup Monday through Friday that you can imagine. Every fucking show from start to end is the greatest. The King of Tampa, Mike Calta with the Mike Calta Show, ending with Johnny B. Listen, every day is great on that radio station. So this isn't about anything negative. But thanks to one of my favorite radio personalities of all time, I was gifted with this wonderful subject matter. And because I couldn't get an actual answer out of him, I'd like to find out what your opinions are. The subject at hand is Drew Garabo. However, this was the article he posted from Fox News 13. And in that article, the headline, of course, reads, "The donut shop manager accused of fatally striking an angry customer released on bond." Right. That's not exactly what this video is about, but it was the viewpoint and opinion of one Drew Garabo that I am questioning. Here is what Drew Garabo Live had to say about the article that was posted about that donut shop manager. A few thoughts. 1. No tears shed for a dead racist. 2. I don't care if you're someone's grandpappy. If you call someone a racial slur, then they say that again, and I'm gonna kick your ass, and you say it again, you deserve to get your ass kicked. 3. I don't know what it feels like to be called a hurtful racial slur, so I can't speak as to one's ability to refrain from punching someone when that happens. 4. The type of person who parks their car to go inside an establishment to complain about the service they received in the drive-thru confuses me. You wanted faster and more efficient service, but you'll waste even more time parking your car, getting out, and then confronting a manager. Question mark. 5. If you're on a jury, do you convict a donut shop manager of aggravated assault? I will leave this here for just a moment. These are a lot of great questions and statements that this favorite radio personality of mine made. Now that I've read off those 5 things that Drew Garabo feels and his thoughts are on the subject, let me get an opinion from you, because I couldn't get one from him. So, let's start out. No tears shed for a dead racist. Listen. We all know that racism is bad. We know it's very bad. However, it's existed since the beginning of time. People with different colored skins are always going to argue with each other because for fear of something different. And until they are educated on a person's personality, do they know that they can trust that person? That's normal human behavior, interaction, and reaction. That's normal shit. So, did somebody deserve to die for walking into to a donut shop and saying a racial slur towards the manager? Number 2, I don't care if someone's grandpappy. Okay, yes. Listen, that's the old "I wish a motherfucker would" routine. I don't care if your grandpappy or blah, 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 blah says it. Listen, in my opinion, Drew Garabo, I love you as a radio personality, but everybody knows you don't know how to fight. So don't talk like that. You just can't talk like that, because you're talking like somebody who will fight, and we all know that you won't. So just fucking chill it out, okay? If your grandpappy or somebody else makes a racial slur. So, if my great-grandmother, who grew up in racist times, well, I don't have any great-grandmothers anymore, I'm giving more of an example. If somebody's great-grandmother, all of my great-grandmothers are dead, but if my great-grandmother grew up in times where people were racist, and in her 80-some-odd-year-old mind, maybe she still felt like that's the way it was, should we be allowed to punch her in the face and kill her if she says some kind of racial slur to somebody out loud? I'm just questioning the situation here. This video today is about what is considered acceptable violence. This is an answer that I couldn't get out of one of the most intellectual radio personalities I've ever listened to. Number 3, I don't know what it feels like to be called a hurtful racial slur, so I can't speak as to one's ability to refrain from punching someone when that happens. Okay, well, good on you. That's great. I'm glad that you haven't had to feel that way. However, I have a post, and I didn't screenshot, well, I did screenshot everything, but I'm not going to litter that shit up on my video today. If you want to see the conversation I had with Drew Garabo, go to his Facebook page, Drew Garabo Live, the official Facebook page. Look up the post that I have been talking about here on this video, and look at the comment section yourself and see how he responded. But this is just one key point of that conversation when I simply asked him, Drew Garabo Live, would it help if I told you that I have been a victim of racism many times? And would you say that I deserved to hit the people that were racist to me hard enough to kill them? And as you can see there, his answer was simply nope. Okay, well that's all right. You're allowed to think that way. I mean, hell, we're all humans, and we deserve the freedom to think for ourselves. But when you're a polarizing character and you're as popular as you are, and you're on top of the mountain of success that you are, and you make statements like you do, don't you feel like perhaps you should educate yourself on your own statements a little bit and make sure you're not categorizing yourself in a completely different world that you weren't even thinking about? A part of the conversation that I had with Drew Garabo Live on his official Facebook page in that comment section was that very question. What to you is acceptable violence? And he gave me a reply with a lot of beautiful grammar and different types of words from a thesaurus that he probably looked up to give me different words and versions of talking about. Basically what he was doing was he was using beautiful grammar and beautiful words to deviate from answering the question. Palatable violence, acceptable violence, applicable violence. I think I actually use that term, which is most appropriate here for this conversation today. Maybe none of us actually accept violence. I mean, obviously I do, because I'm the prodigal bastard, and this is addictMMA. And my key thing here is to talk about fights. That's what we do here. However, this is a very touchy subject. I have grown up in racism, just for a little bit, not like my whole life. My parents chose the wrong boys club for me to go to one time. Oh, watch out! Pull that statement out of context and freeze frame that shit so that you can call me a racist too. When I say the wrong boys club, I mean exactly that. I went to the wrong boys club, and I was beat up every day at that fucking boys club for having the wrong color skin, which means I went to the wrong boys club. I didn't think I went to the wrong boys club. My parents didn't think I went to the wrong boys club, but the boys club let me know that I went to the wrong boys club. I got beat up for being a white boy. I know, in this world, that's unheard of, but it is a thing, and it happened. And I don't go around hating people for the color of their skin because that happened. I did try to fight back, but you understand I was outnumbered, and every time I tried to fight back, somebody else hit me in the back of the head or tackled me to the ground while they all held me down and punched me in my face and in my toes. They liked punching me in my toes because that way they couldn't get in trouble for bruising me and get in trouble from the administrators. Right. So, my question to Drew Garabo was, based on that, should I have been able to kill those people? And he simply said nope. So then, what's acceptable violence? What is acceptable to you? To me, Acceptable violence is organized violence, sporting events. I love sporting events. I love mutual combat. I love it when two humans can go toe-to-toe and figure out who is the dominant in that aspect of their humanity. I love it. Call me primitive, but that's a part of the primitive human that I still will cling to and love because it's a part of what makes us stronger. The fight is what makes us stronger. But do we need to use that against everybody? So if somebody calls me a cracker today outside of my driveway, based on Drew Garabo's statement, no, I don't deserve to kill anybody. So then when do you deserve to kill somebody for being racist? Or when is it acceptable to be violent? If somebody comes into my home in the middle of the night and they're trying to hurt myself and my family, well, I'm not going, I mean, I'll use a form of violence. I'll use my firearms. But even if I have to use just my hands and I rip their fucking Adam's apple out, it's kind of my favorite thing to practice. But that's acceptable violence because somebody was trying to hurt me in my own. What kind of a person goes into a drive-thru or goes into a restaurant after having a hard time in a drive-thru? Listen, I'll tell you what kind of people do that shit. The kind of people that are miserable in their own lives. The kind of people that are so upset with themselves for not accomplishing the things they wanted to. Or even sometimes it might be the type of person that is just so used to controlling everything in their aspect of life that they just see everybody like peasants to them at this point. You don't know who you're dealing with from day to day. The dude wearing a t-shirt with holes in it could be the same dude that owns $1 million company, and he just doesn't have to go to work every day, so fuck it, he dresses like a slouch. You don't know who you're talking to ever, and you can't base people off the judgment of your aesthetic abilities. You can't do it that way. If somebody's racist, fucking deal with it, man. Everybody's racist, but in my opinion, one of my favorite and most intellectual radio show hosts, Drew Garabo, he made a bold statement, and in a conversation with me, he was unable to answer for that statement. And to me, that's a victory. It's a moral victory for me, and it brought me closer to being a bigger fan of Drew Garabo. However, I'm disappointed because it seems to me that the man has just used his rhetoric, his clever abilities to thwart that of the ignorant. And perhaps he's become ignorant himself, just a slight bit. That's just my opinion. But when it comes to acceptable violence is defending your family, is defending yourself. Okay? Acceptable violence is if you're a trained amateur or professional athlete and you go into competition. That's acceptable violence. But just because you said, I wish a motherfucker would, and then they did say words, you don't get to crack them back, dude. You're the fucking manager of an establishment. You just tell them they can't shop there anymore. That's how you win. You want to inconvenience somebody, take their drive-through convenience experience completely away from them. And you won. And nobody died. People are going to remain racist. Listen, if there's one thing I've learned in my life, is that you can't change a person's opinion. You can just have your own and accept everybody else for whom they are. And that's the best I can do for you today. Thank you for joining me. This has been addictMMA. I want to see your comments. I would like your opinion on this. I would love interaction, and I will go live again here in a few nights just to fucking do it. I'll let you know when, but always tune in, and thank you. Your input here is necessary.